Welcome to our final KANG News broadcast of the school year. I'm Kyanna.
And I'm Drew. We want to start out by congratulating KANG News' own Jessica Lang.
Over the weekend, Jessica's series Perspectives on Remote Learning won the Student Production Award for long-form non-fiction at the 58th Annual Northwest Regional Emmy Awards in Seattle. Her entry is automatically entered into national competition.
There are several changes in store for us next year, including a new principal.
Miss Bell is currently the principal at Marysville-Pilchuck High School. She took a few minutes to chat with me earlier this week.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine Bell and I'm just so excited to be coming to LW next year to be your new principal. I'll be on campus on Monday the 14th, so you might see me walking around. And right now I'm the principal at Marysville-Pilchuck High School, and I'll be sad to leave here but so excited to come and learn from you about all the wonderful things that you do and see how I can support you and be a champion for UW.
Awesome. So first question I have for you is, what made you want to be an educator?
Oh, that's a great question. So I had a teacher who believed in me when I was in high school, and I loved history, I loved writing, loved social studies, and I had a teacher who thought that I should be a teacher too and gave me the opportunity. And just like many of you, it takes that one educator, no matter who they are, to support you and help you believe in yourself. And I think at LW probably have a lot of folks like that too.
Yeah, I think we definitely have a great support system here. My next question for you is, what is most exciting to you about being able to come to LW next year?
Well, part of it, and what I was saying to the class as I was kind of virtually in the classroom, is KANG News. This is really what got me excited when I was thinking about the possibility of coming down to Lake Washington. I did my research, and what I saw was a whole lot of KANG News broadcasts that were available, of course, on the internet, and watching KANG News and learning about the diverse student body and community and how you engage your community and your student body through this medium is really exciting for me. So I'm excited about that, but I'm also really passionate about high school and opportunities in high school, and I can't wait to work with such a big school and so many students and teachers.
Yeah, I think that's obviously like a great answer. We're obviously looking forward to having you. And then to kind of finish out, well, don't want to take up too much time, but what's one thing you want to share about yourself so that students can get to know you better before you come next year?
I am super excited about student activities. So of course, I'll be in classrooms and supporting learning and out in between classes and supporting school safety and all of that. But I'm really excited about seeing students successful outside of the classroom and work internships in the robotics lab, out on the softball field, anywhere you are. That's what I'm really passionate about, is just watching students grow and learn and change in the process of becoming adults. So that's something about me. You'll see me everywhere, and I'm a huge basketball fan. So if you're a basketball fan, I'm a basketball fan, we will connect right away.
Our current principal, Miss Thomas, is retiring after 44 years in education. She sat down with our own Jessica Lang to share more about her experience and legacy.
Hi guys, I'm Jessica Lang from KANG News. I'm here with our principal, Miss Thomas. Miss Thomas, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
So we're going to kind of start this interview by just kind of getting into how you started your career in education and kind of what drew you to that path. That's going to be my first question for you today.
Okay, so it's a long way back. I started in my educational career 43 years ago. I was a special education teacher. I taught elementary school, I've taught middle school, I've taught high school. And then I decided after 20 years of teaching to do something else. And so then I went into administration because I just had a passion for teaching and learning and wanted to keep going, but wanted to take a different path.
Right, right. Did you think that your obviously 4-decade-long career in education would go this long? And did you think that this was the path as a principal that you would end up in?
So I never envisioned being a principal when I was a teacher. That wasn't something I thought I would ever do, but I always knew education was my calling. I started working with students with disabilities when I was in elementary school, and just knew I loved it. Yeah. And so I just continued down that path, and I've never looked back, and I always enjoyed it. And being an administrator is just a different way of teaching and learning, and I love working with kids, and so never look back.
Right. And I know you have made a really big impact as your years as principal here at Lake Washington. You've been here for a good amount of time. What highlights or what drove you to become a principal, and what things do you keep in mind day to day when you're thinking about kind of running the school and making sure that kids here are happy and that they're getting the best education that they can?
So, well, when I started here, it was a school of 900 students.
Wow.
And it was a 10-12 system. And then we added 9th grade. And since then, it's almost doubled in size.
Right.
I think for me, and I would say with all the teachers, is what draws anyone to education is the kids.
Yeah.
And it is wanting to interact with them, continue teaching them. It's kind of like parenting a big group of kids, and so using the opportunities to continue to grow students in the way you want them to interact with society as a whole. My job now is really working with students, but also working with staff to provide professional development on instructional practices. They continually change. Our big focus in the last few years has really been around equity. We have struggling kids, and we need to do a better job, so that's been our focus. But for me, it's really about working with kids and their continual learning, and just to be able to see the growth that they have from 9th grade to 12th grade. When you look at our seniors and where they're going and what they're going to be doing, it's so inspiring. And so every year you look at the little 9th graders coming in, and you're like, oh, these guys, they're so scared and so full of possibilities, and then they leave as seniors ready to enter the workforce and the college and do amazing things, and that's just very gratifying.
What are some of your favorite memories here at Lake Washington that you've had?
Oh, so many. I think most of my favorite memories involve students and what they've been able to accomplish. Like, one of our seniors was able to get the left turn light out here. It was actually a student-led initiative. Our students have developed bills that have had impact. And then just the craziness that kids come up with. We'll say one of my favorite senior pranks was the year students used red Solo cups and wrote their graduation year in the Commons. It was so creative, but it wasn't destructive. And so I was like, that's creative, like if you could do something that's creative but not destructive, is fun. But kids are just fun. That's what I would say. I love being around kids because they're so fun.
My last question for you today is, what is next for you?
Well, I am a grandmother of 6, so that is next for me. My children are already booking me. Travel. I got a puppy during the pandemic, so he has some training that needs to happen. And just I'm looking forward to not having a schedule, like just do what I want every day.
Yeah, that sounds definitely fun, and I'm glad that you're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Thomas, for sitting down with me. This has been our interview for KANG News with Ms. Thomas. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
really
so
appreciate
welcome. Thank you.
Sitting down with me.
Of course.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 3 more days of school left, and Nurse Romer has this message for us all. A sincere and grateful thank you to all of our students for complying with our district COVID safety plan. What a crazy year, and we know it wasn't easy to do attestation, wear a mask, be quarantined, carry purple cones to the bathroom, and try to social distance. We saw it and appreciated everyone's diligence and constant efforts through every day. Thank you for all the bright and smiling eyes from above your masks. Have a wonderful summer.
To everyone who purchased a yearbook, they will arrive at school in late July and will be distributed via drive-up as soon as they arrive. Watch your email with additional details from Ms. Kreutz.
Congratulations to the LW boys track team who won the district championships, beating 2 4A teams in the process. Go Kangs!
Congratulations also go out to students who earned Microsoft certificates this year. Here's the list. If you recognize any names, make sure to give them a shout out. Hey class of 2022, do you want to make a more positive change in your school and your community? Do you have an idea for a service project that can make LW a better place?
Do you want cool, exclusive club gear? Join Loyalty Club. Loyalty is a seniors-only club. They host fundraisers like the co-ed volleyball tournament to help benefit HopeLink and food drives during winter. Loyalty is a student-directed club, so if you have any service ideas, join Loyalty to see them put into action. Application forms will be coming to your school email today, and they are due June 30th. Ms. Flowers and Ms. Joyce are excited to work with you.
LDUB's Theatre Club's musical showcase takes place tonight at 7. Find the link to the team's page by visiting the club's Instagram page or email Miss Heatbrink.
Here's an update from robotics. Robotics Club is going great and looking forward to next year. The club is finishing up an electric car to be used by ASB. They've begun working on a new type of drivetrain for next year's robot called a swerve drive. Constructors, planners, CAD design, and programmers are wanted and needed for the club next September. Contact Mr. Catton for more information. Miss Thody's wrapping up her series, Diversifying Science at LDUB, by talking with a NASA astronaut. Leland Melvin flew 2 shuttle missions to the International Space Station.
He's also the only astronaut to be drafted into the NFL. In fact, his Detroit Lions jersey is hanging up at the Football Hall of Fame. Here he shares with Miss Thody and her science students more about a bodily function we all take for granted, but may be a little trickier to do up in space.
So now my next question that my students were asking you, what is the weirdest part of living and being in space for you? What was like the weirdest? What was it like? Like if you were to talk about your day-to-day life, like what was the weirdest? And they also want to know about like basic human functions in space, like what was sleeping and eating like and other bodily functions.
Okay, I know what they want to ask the question, and I'm ready to tell you exactly. Doing number 1 in space, peeing in space, you have a funnel, you basically pee in the funnel, and the vacuum pulls it down and it goes into this container. Everyone for the funnel, they have their own receptacle. So men and women have it's all color coded. So mine was blue. So if I go in the bathroom, I grab the blue one, put it on the funnel, do my business. Number 2, it's a regular looking toilet, except it has these bars that come over your thighs and kind of hold your thighs in place. Your feet go into these straps because propulsion is propulsion. So if you're doing some propulsion, you would float off because that is propulsion, right? So you have to be strapped down when you do your business in number 2. Now, I was a crew medical officer on my first flight. I had to make sure that everyone was taking their medication or if they were drinking water and that they were peeing and pooping, because you got to get your system going in space because everything's floating in your body. And you don't know if you have to pee or not because there's a sensor on your bladder that tells you, as gravity pulls that down and tells you, hey, I've got to go to the bathroom. But in space, all of that liquid is in your bladder floating around. So you don't know if you have to use the bathroom or not, for number 1. Number 2 is a whole nother story. If you eat a lot of food and you don't go right away, that happened to me. And when I went to the bathroom, the toilet is only this deep. So your intestines are pretty long. I had to actually float off of the toilet because, anyway, you get the picture.
Well, thank you for answering their weirdest parts of space and bodily functions. So kind of thinking about when you are going back to Earth or vice versa, how long did it take you to adjust? So as you went into space, long did it take you to adjust to zero gravity? And coming back to Earth, how long did it take you to readjust to, Earth's gravity?
Right. We train in an airplane. We fly like the profile of a parabola or a roller coaster to feel weightlessness. So we get 25 seconds of weightlessness 40 times. We do 40 parabolas that we get this sensation. But when we go to space, as soon as you get there, your brain is now shutting off your vestibular system, your inner ears that tell you what orientation you're in, up or down or right or left. And your brain just takes over and says, okay, I'm going to make all my adjustments based on vision because I know this data is wrong from your ears. And so it didn't take long to get adjusted, maybe 40 minutes or so to start pushing off with micro accelerations, and you start moving a little bit and then you get close to something and you just slow yourself down a little bit, or you grab a rail, or you put your foot in straps to hold yourself down. It gets better, over time. And then just, eating and drinking is normal because your body automatically just pushes things down. Even if you're upside down or right side up or whatever orientation you're in. You can eat and drink and do everything normally. And I think the biggest thing is just making sure that you're not moving too fast as you're translating down these modules on the space station, because you can just wipe out all the computers with your body or delicate experiments or things. So body control, very fine motion and movements are critical to being a good crewmate.
You can watch the complete interview on our YouTube channel, but only until June 16th.
Before we go, we have this information for the class of 2022. The College and Career Center has many resources to help you plan for a post-high school education and careers. You can check out recordings of this year's Wednesday live sessions with career professionals and college admission reps, and also reach out to any of the guests to get a more personalized and in-depth information. You can also learn more about career pathways, the military, and apprenticeships. Visit the College and Career Center in person on the LW website, or email Ms. Henderson at the email address on your screen. This has been a strange year, but we're proud to have consistently brought you weekly newscasts, both remotely and in the studio. Kyanna, what's been one of your favorite memories this school year?
One of my favorite memories this school year probably was one that happened this Monday, and I was doing triangle puzzles with my physics teacher. What about you, Drew?
I think just getting back into school from being remote and just seeing all of my friends again and hanging out and just having COVID regulations ease just like a little bit. It's just been very fun, and I'm glad to be to somewhat new normal.
Well, that wraps up our final KANG News broadcast of the school year. I'm Kyanna.
And I'm Drew. We're already working on content for next year's newscast for new and returning team members.
If you have any stories or topics you'd like us to cover, email us anytime at lwkangnews@gmail.com.
Have a great summer, Kangs.